Hi, good afternoon, distinguished participants and colleagues. Welcome to the launch of the ADB-Japan Sustainable Transport Technology for the Future, Session 1, Supply Chain Decarbonization and Carbon Reduction. Hi, my name is Masato Nakane, Principal Regional Cooperation Specialist at ADB. So this session aims to share Japanese experience, knowledge, best practices, and ideas with the participants in the Transport Forum. During this session, we will explore a variety of technologies in transport and logistics, which will contribute to carbon reduction. The transport sector accounted for around 20% of global greenhouse gas emissions. So by adopting these technologies, I'm sure we can make a significant contribution to carbon reduction. Let's start this session with welcome remarks by Mr. James Leather, Director of the Emerging Area Team, Transport Sector Group, ADB. Jamie, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for attending what I believe is a very interesting session. I'd also like to make special mention to the Global Business Investment Support Office at the Cabinet Secretary in the Government of Japan. And of course, as a technology part of the debate, the 11 Japanese companies who will be sharing their technologies, as well as a very close partner of ours at ADB, JICA, who we are working very closely with on a number of projects, not just in Metro Manila, which is a huge joint undertaking, but across the Asia-Pacific as region as well. The growth of transport-related emissions, we are estimating it's around a quarter of the CO2 emissions. And as ADB has announced, we are the climate bank for Asia and the Pacific, so we're taking this very seriously. To some extent, the energy sector is on the right trajectory. The transport sector is starting to go on that trajectory, but it's a combination of policies, of technologies, and of finance that will see a significant reduction in the CO2 that the sector provides. Of course, the region we're in now, Asia and the Pacific, is growing very rapidly, and with that growth comes an increased demand for travel, both from people and goods. And a lot of the increase in the CO2 we are seeing from the transport sector will occur in Asia and the Pacific. So we need to make sure that we are addressing this issue. We're adapting the latest technologies to make sure that this sector's growth is not sort of exponential, but that we will see a tipping point to net zero at some time in the future. So the collaboration between ADB, Government of Japan, and the Japanese companies, the knowledge, the technology, I'm always about understanding what's the latest technology, looking at its relevance, applying that knowledge and backing it up with finance, both technical and financial support to deliver those on the ground. We won't see any reduction in CO2 unless we take these technologies and put them into action, and therefore the reductions will happen across. And we're really looking, I think, two sessions in two different components. One on the cargo aspect, the freight demand, and the other on the passenger. It's good to see that the first session is on freight. A lot of focus is given to reductions in passenger mobility, particularly in urban areas, and we are seeing great, I think as a result of that attention, we are seeing much better improvements in terms of lower emission forms of transport under that void shift improve. But the freight sector is still the largest emitter and is expected to grow with economic growth, particularly in this part of the world where we are a lot of import exports. That global growth, the national growth, unfortunately that's there. Again, the technology is very important here because I did describe a few days ago sort of the lowest hanging fruit, the two-wheelers and the three-wheelers in terms of electric mobility have gone beyond the tipping point where the e-vehicle is a better choice than an internal combustion engine. The fruit higher up the tree, the long distance trucks, the international maritime or coastal shipping, the aviation, the technology is not yet there, not at a commercially viable rate to do those things. So I think that plus The passenger part will really put us in here, and the technology leading to action and financial support there. So please, I hope you will enjoy and learn, but more importantly, take what you learn home and seek how you can implement that in your own surroundings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jamie, for your encouraging message. And then this can be a good start for our further discussion during this session. So next, Mr. Akio Tomita from the Global Business Investment Support Office, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of Japan, will deliver opening remarks. Mr. Tomita, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, distinguished participants. I'm honored to welcome you all to the ADB-Japan Sustainable Transport Technology for the Future session at the Asia and the Pacific Transport Forum 2024. Transportation is essential for social activities, yet it also presents significant challenges in the face of global climate change. And these challenges are becoming increasingly complex. In such circumstances, achieving decarbonization in the transport sector requires a comprehensive approach, including seamless collaboration and knowledge sharing among governments, private sectors, and international organizations. In 2022, the Japanese government established the Global Business Investment Support Office to support Japanese companies with advanced technologies in expanding their business overseas by addressing development issues and social challenges. We believe that Japanese knowledge and experience contribute to solving various problems around the world. Based on this idea, our office regularly collaborates with ADB, other international organizations, and foreign governments, serving as a one-stop hub to connect the needs of different countries with relevant Japanese entities. Co-organizing today's session is also part of this context. By jointly hosting this session with ADB, our office serves as a dynamic catalyst for knowledge sharing between entities seeking solutions to diverse challenges and those providing them. Today's session will focus on supply chain decarbonization, carbon reduction, and green mobility, aiming to share Japan's knowledge and experience with ADB's developing member countries and professionals in this sector, with the hope of exploring pathways to carbon neutral transport for the future. Although this may be a challenging topic, I anticipate that the discussion will be highly beneficial for each one of us because it will feature real-world solutions, innovative concepts, and insights into Japan's best practices and experience. Lastly, let me express my sincere hope that this discussion could foster fruitful discussion and meaningful collaboration among all participants towards a cleaner and more sustainable future for transportation. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Tomita, for your insightful message. So now we will request a presenter to make a presentation. But as you may see, during this session, we have 6 presentations. So first, we will listen to three presentations. And after the first 3 presentations, we will have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions on the first 3 topics, please post your questions through the Transport Forum app. I assume most of you are already familiar with the app, but if you not, you can ask maybe our staff how to use this app to upload your questions. And then after the last three presentations, we will have another Q&A session. So you can post your inquiries on the final 3 presentations before the second Q&A session. Yeah. So now let's listen to the first presentation on container tracking and data analytics solutions for Indian logistics sector toward its global competitiveness and decarbonization. The presenter is Mr. Yasunori Mochizuki, Fellow of NEC Corporation. Mr. Mochizuki, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. I wonder where the clicker is. And could you put my slide? Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you very much for kindly inviting me to this prestigious speaking opportunity. It's certainly my great honor and pleasure. And I'm excited to share the topic to which NEC has been contributing with its technology, digital technologies. So yes, I'm talking about container tracking and data analytics solutions for Indian logistics sector toward its global competitiveness and decarbonization. This initiative, I understand, is part of a bigger umbrella of India's industrial corridor program, for which Asian Development Bank has been cooperating via financial loans. And this entire program is led by a semi-public company called NICDC, National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation. And for this, the Indian government owns the half of the share, whereas 26% is owned by JBIC, Japan Bank for International Cooperation. So what I'm talking today also belongs to something that was triggered by this Indian-Japanese cooperation at the government level. So the visualization and analytics solution is called a logistic data bank. And indeed, LDB has been making notable contribution to the competitiveness of Indian logistics sector. So the Logistics Performance Index, LPI, is a global benchmark tool created by World Bank. And India's LPI ranking improved from 54th position in 2014 to 38th in 2023. And the World Bank's report states that a supply chain visibility platform, which of course is a logistic data bank, contributed to remarkable reduction of delays. So now what is a logistic data bank? It is a nationwide single window platform for tracking export-import containers. And what's amazing about the whole story is that now the 100% of EXIM containers within entire India are tracked and their movement are visualized real time. So this is what's great about this. And LDB uses RFID technology in which the tag is attached to every container that goes across ports, container depots, freight stations, toll booths, railway stations, etc., etc. And electronic data are exchanged through integrations. And people can obtain analytical insights for finding, for instance, best and worst performing ports, container depots, and freight stations. Okay, so this animation explains the LDB operation. First, the imported containers arrive at the ports by ship and, of course, unloaded. Then, some of the containers to be carried by trucks, whereas others by trains. So in any case, all the containers go through what we call tagging points. And at the tagging points, staffs are using handheld devices to map RFID information with container number, and then the tag is attached to container walls. And then every time a truck crosses the toll booth, the tag information is read in a real-time fashion. And the same is true for containers carried by trains across stations. And the information is also collected when the container arrives at the container depots or freight station, and then is further sent out to reach the final destination, such as factories. And the same monitoring procedure is done in the returning transport of every container back to the exporting points. So the operating body of a logistic data logistic data bank is called NLDS. This is a NICDC Logistic Data Services Limited. And this special purpose vehicle was established in 2015 as a 50% investment corporation between NEC and NICDC. And the first RFID tagging tracking solution was deployed to the port called Jawaharlal Nehru in the year of 2016. And since then, this solution has been deployed to more and more ports in India, thereby the coverage increasing from 35 to 65%. And finally, the 100% coverage was achieved in November 2020. And up to now, more than 70 million containers have been tracked so far. So this map shows the LDB's coverage. Besides the 17 ports, there are lots of logistics facilities such as a freight station, container depots, and others, some of which are also located in the inland portion of India. And what I would like to draw your attention is the box in a bottom row. So now LDB service is receiving 4.5 million monthly container search. And actually the number of handled containers in India per month is something like 1 million. So this number implies that each container is receiving kind of a 4.5 search per month, indicating that LDB solution is a service is actually utilized in a fairly multi-stakeholder fashion. And the central power of LDB, of course, lies in the analytics capability using the container information coming from input stakeholders, as you can see here. And the analytics covers a broad range of interest, including cargo dwell time, congestion, speed, and also with a somewhat higher level of performance benchmarking. For instance, the performance of all the 17 export ports analyzed in a quadrant analysis, where the performance of each port is plotted as a function of number of containers handled, like large, small, and also the average dwell time, long and short, in this way. And the results of analytics are published as reports that are delivered to the ministries and also individual port terminal operators. And of course, live dashboards and reports are also available to public. So this slide summarizes the value add of LDB. So before LDB, importers, exporters had to depend on multiple stakeholder system for information on their containers, but LDB realized a single window platform with access to all. In doing this, LDB was integrated with systems of stakeholder, thereby breaking down the silo walls between systems and achieve the real-time information exchange. And now rich data set of ports, yards, highways, and railways have been accumulating since 2016 for decision making. Altogether, there used to be no performance benchmarking for encouraging competition and transparency, but LDB provided the way so that people can utilize the technology-driven analytics with performance comparison. So the LDB was developed primarily with the aim of economic competitiveness when it started. However, the improvements made do translate into decarbonization as well. Just to name a few, LDB has minimized delays and reduced idling time, leading to lower fuel consumption. And LDB has enabled businesses to optimize the utilization of transportation resources, reducing inefficiencies and promoting sustainability. And route optimization, of course, minimizes distances traveled. And LDB also helps ports in reducing congestion, which is also another important factor leading to the lower carbon emission. And this slide is an example of the analytical report showing the cases for several ports, and every column has a number of congestion reduction near the port area. You can see all of them. So on the left-hand side, you see import bound 16% improvement, export bound 15%, and in the middle, you have 38 and 51% improvement. And on the right-hand side, 61 and 35% improvement in the congestion. And these numbers are actually the achievement in spite of increasing container traffic, which is about 8% per year on average. So this is a great achievement. And of course, such improvements must be reflected on the sizable reduction in carbon emission. And now I'm talking to the idea of way beyond, way forward. It's about expanding cargo visibility beyond containers. And this initiative is called the Unified Logistics Interface Platform, ULIP. And the ULIP has been designed to further enhance the efficiency and the cost reduction in the Indian logistics sector. And of course, ULIP is expected to also further contribute to the reduction of the carbon emission. So what is ULIP? This is an initiative launched by Honorable Prime Minister of India under the purview of National Logistics Policy. It was announced in September 2022. And ULIP provides a gateway to enabling industry players to access logistics-related datasets from various government systems through API-based integration. And all modes of logistics, including sea, air, road, rail, and waterways, are covered under ULIP, irrespective of types of cargoes. So in the slide where I'm showing how ULIP works, you can still see the logistic data bank in the top right, at the top right. But now ULIP provides a gateway to all other modes of transport and all, as well as the public authorities relevant to the logistics sector. And if you look at the lower part of the slide, which shows us data users and data applications, you find that these are fairly similar to what we have seen for logistic data bank. So ULIP itself, as a policy, came directly from the Prime Minister Office of India. In the meantime, the technical and service framework is can be understood as an expansion of logistic data bank, which has been in operation already for 8 years. And actually, the maintenance and management of the ULIP portal is actually done by NLDS, which is the operating company of Logistic Data Bank. So in the final slide, I'm showing ULIP integration status. And it already integrated 37 systems, including those of 10 ministries. And it's amazing to see that nearly 900 companies are already registered. And the number of API hits already exceeds 300 million. The right-hand side shows the portfolios of participating bodies, logistics service providers in India, various types of multinational companies and Indian startups, and government agencies, both at national and subnational levels. So I'm wrapping up with the 4 takeaways. One is a visualization of logistics sector in India started with the aim of enhancing economic competitiveness, and it is making an amazing success by implementing digital innovation of RFID technology and big data analytics. 2, while the technical approach is very simple and straightforward, the key success factor, I believe, is definitely the 100% nationwide coverage that's been achieved by the based on the single window platform, Logistic Data Bank, which is open and transparent. And here, the key enabler of this success is, of course, the policy-driven approach under the leadership of Indian government. And third, and since LDB is contributing both to the efficiency enhancement and cost reduction in a positive spiral, where there has been an active participation by business, which is crucial not only for optimizing the business operation, but also in coming up with the carbon reduction as a whole. So particularly for the logistics sector, visualization carbon in an indirect and supply chain-wide component called Scope 3 is important. And I do believe that this single window digital approach of India should become the foundation for easily and reliably calculating Scope 3 carbon. And finally, it's a great news that the recent ULIP initiative is further expanding the success of LDB to a broader range of logistic players. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Mr. Mochizuki, thank you very much for sharing your experience on container tracking and data analytics solutions in India. I think what is good thing of this technology is this technology first to improve efficiency and increase economic competitiveness. At the same time, it will contribute to reduce carbon reduction. So I'm sure the benefits of introducing this technology should be significant. So let's move on to the next presentation. Next presentation is on role of biofuel and just transition in maritime decarbonization. This presentation will be made by Mr. Takuya Koizumi, General Manager, Decarbonization Group, ESG Strategic Headquarters from NYK Line. Mr. Koizumi, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm speaking the decarbonization on the sea, role of the biofuel and the just transition in maritime decarbonization. Just a brief introduction of a company. We called NYK is a Nippon Yusen Kabushiki Kaisha. We are established in 1885, so almost 140 years ago. And we are operating almost 800, more than 800 ships worldwide. And even though we are not, we are a shipping company, but we are a global logistic company. So we have a air freighter, 8 aircraft, and yearly flight number is more than close to the 6,000, and operating at 20 ports. And sorry, we have a logistics center and the warehouse and about 700 locations. About the shipping industry, shipping connect world economics and underpin the global supply chains. Activity-wise, shipping industry has taking more than 80% of the world trade, import and export. But the footprint, carbon footprint is about 3% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, which is almost equivalent to the Germany emissions. And this is industry-wise GHG reduction strategy. We are governed by the IMO, International Maritime Organization, which is the maritime sector of the United Nations. And the aim is we are achieving net zero close to the around 2050. By doing so, there are so many ways to do it. And ultimately, the way is to using a green ammonia or green methanol, which is believed to be ultimate zero emission fuels. But we need some time to, to use those kind of new fuels. By until that time, we are not relaxing, sitting back and relax. We have to use some kind of the ways to do it. The many ways is there is a fuel option, emission avoidance, and energy efficiency. I don't go through the every detail, but I want to speak about the yellow section of the fuel option, especially alternative fuel. This is a biofuel. Biofuel is believed to be an intermediate solution to close to the reduction of the GHG reduction on the sea. But at this moment, less than 5% of the world ship is using so-called alternative fuels, and among which most of this is this blue section is LNG, which is a liquid natural gas, which contains obviously the carbon factor. So this is not zero fuel. And for the vessel to be delivered or under construction, still 60% is under the oil, heavy fuel oil. And even so, among the 40%, almost 25% is still LNG. So we are still in a long way to go to achieve the net zero. And by 2030, approximately 10% of the world fleet in the deadweight will be powered by alternative fuels. But still, as you can see, the most of the solution is liquid natural gas. So we still cannot net zero, cannot achieve the net zero. So as I explained, the intermediate solution is using a biofuel. Biofuel has a lot of the ways to use it. For instance, bio oil can be mixed with a heavy fuel oil to reduce the reduction of the GHG, and the biomethane and biomethanol can be used to mix with LNG or methanol, respectively. Because bio oil or fuel is made by the agricultural residuals or animal waste or like wood chips. So this is believed to be a net zero because they are consuming CO2 by growing by the time they grow. Role of the biofuel in On May 2nd, there is a joint statement made by the 75 industry leaders in Turin, which I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is Torino in Italy. Decarbonization of all transport sectors should be promoted to environmental sustainability and innovation and creating value for the communities. On that joint statement, it says sustainable biofuel bringing the significant benefit, including greater energy security. Greater energy security means we don't have to worry about regional conflict like we see, unfortunately, in some areas. And ease of integration into the current logistics means biofuel can be transported as a normal oil. And of course, this is a circular economy and the creation of the value for the local community. This is very important. So this can be create a new industry in developing countries. And the sustainable agriculture and the forest practices. If this kind of agriculture and the forest practices are well maintained, this can be protecting environment while we can produce biofuel. So this is a very important because agricultural residuals is a kind of untouched resources which is still in a developing developing countries. And this is a risk and opportunities for the biofuels. The compatibility, biofuel can be used together with heavy fuel oil, but the components is very mixed. As we will explain later, we will see whether this can be used as a safely as in the main engine. And the scalability, the feedstock, the global project availability varies from 80 to 134 exajoule in 2030 to more than 100 to 200 exajoule in 2050, while shipping energy demand is only 10 to 12 exajoule per year. So it's seemingly there is a lot of the opportunity there in biofuel. And affordability, the problem is the cost is very expensive. So, this is a main headache. And the sustainability, finding the right balance will have an impact on the amount of the biomass that can be used to produce oil, bio-oil. As I explained, there is some kind of the technical challenges whether we can use the biofuel as instead of the main heavy fuel oil. So we are doing in laboratory test and the engine test and the onboard application together with GCMD, which is Singapore's Global Center of the Maritime Decarbonization. We will use a 6 months test period of the biofuel to see whether the biofuel has a negative impact or that kind of the accumulating operating knowledge and experience and evaluate the impact and the tracking the biofuel. So feedback to the maritime industry, again, is no one left behind the transition toward the decarbonization. This is a big, important message from us. In terms of the Philippines is a very big and important seafarers providing country. And we have 3 companies, which is called NYK Field Ship Management, which is responsible for the manning of the Philippine crews, and NYK Field Maritime Training Company, which is a training of the Filipino crew, and NYK TDG Maritime Academy, which is a maritime college, which educate the young generations to be seafarers, which is open 2007. And we have already more than 1,400 cadets has graduated already. So seafarers has a key role to challenge for the new fuel. This is very important, and we will be taking this kind of the big responsibility to support the world economy through the shipping. Thank you very much.
Mr. Koizumi, thank you very much for your informative presentation on biofuel and the just transition. Maritime transport will continue to be an important mode for merchandise trade. So promoting the fuel like this biofuel will be crucial to reduce GHG emissions related to trade. So after the next presentation, we will have the first Q&A session. So if you have any questions on the first two presentations, you can start posting your question through the app. The third presentation is about decarbonization of the cargo handling equipment at port. This will be presented by Mr. Kinya Ichimura, Manager and Head of Marketing Group, Marketing Department, New Business Development Division from Mitsui E&S Corporation Limited. Mr. Ichimura, we are all ears.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Kinya Ichimura, and first of all, so I'm very proud for the presenter here. And also thanks for ADB and the Japanese government to invite us to present our product. So today I'd like to present about the decarbonization of the cargo handling equipment. Okay. So that is my company, Mitsui E&S. So Mitsui E&S, it used to be named of the Mitsui Shipbuilding. So that is a shipbuilder. And then, but today, so we provide machinery products like marine diesel engine or a container crane or industrial machines. So each sector, we have a decarbonization product. For example, marine diesel engine, we are developing the hydrogen engine, internal combustion engine for the new business department. So that is the industrial machinery division. So we provide a hydrogen compressor. And then so another logistic system department divisions also provide the container crane with hydrogen powered. So today, so I like to present about the third one, the container crane, and also the second one, middle one, hydrogen compressor. So container terminal and the rubber tire gantry crane. That is a container terminal. So container terminal is so there is a lot of container terminal in the world. In the Philippines, so Subic Bay is very famous in the world. And then so today's container terminal, some container terminal is very big and they're so very congested. And then so like this picture, so a lot of container and then a lot of gantry crane is running. And then so container terminal, pick up the container from vessel and put on the container and the stocking area. And then so the cargo is go outside. So you can see the container crane in the port. So for the gantry crane, quayside gantry crane, looks like a giraffe. And then so, but this crane is a pickup container from vessel or put on the container on the vessel. So the container is stuck this area, so-called the stocking area. And then stocking area is temporarily stuck the container until pick up the container from outside chassis or put in the container and stock temporarily until the vessel will come. Today, So we will use the RTG, rubber tire gantry crane, is the most popularly. That's because RTG is mounted on the rubber tire. That means they can do the flexible operation. If that area is busy, so many container crane is RTG come to here, and then if this area is free, and then so this crane go to the another area. So due to that flexibility, the RTG can be used a lot of the container terminal. On the other hand, container crane RTG is rubber tire mounted. So that's because it's difficult to provide the electrical power from the ground. You know, the rubber tire crane is running the swaying, and so difficult to running straight. So that's because they installed the onboard diesel generator since the early days. That is almost first RTG in the 1950s. Since then, so they used the onboard diesel engine. And then, so according to the Clean Air Action Plan report from the Port of Los Angeles or Long Beach, so that RTG, conventional RTG consumes the 9.5 gallon per hour diesel fuel. That means the 36 liter per hour, and it consumes the 92 kilogram CO2 per hour. So, but the crane is hoist up the load, and during the hoist down, the motor will be generated. We call the regen energy. So the original RTG dispose this energy by heat from this resistor. But the recent one is the charge for the battery. And then so since the hoisting up, that the charged energy will be used. So we call the hybrid from the generator and battery energy. So that is today's situation. And then so we developed the fuel cell powered transstainer. So this one is almost same as the hybrid system. But so hybrid system using a diesel generator. This system is using a fuel cell power pack instead of the diesel generator. So diesel generator, so for example, the hybrid diesel generator is about 200 kilowatt power. So today we are available to provide a 200 kilowatt fuel cell system. But in that case, we consume a lot of the hydrogen, and we have to install a lot of hydrogen on board. So the difficulty of the hydrogen-powered crane is the balance. For example, the container terminal is very close. So they stacked a lot of container, and the crane is running the very narrow area. And then so the crane is side by side, and this stacked area, this area is very small. That's because we have to design the very small power pack. And then so there is a size limitation. Inside of this size limitation, we have to put on the fuel cell, also hydrogen tank. The difficulty is the hydrogen tank, you know. So if the consumption, hydrogen consumption is very big, so this hydrogen tank also became big. So that is the one issue of the development of the hydrogen container crane. And then also another problem is hydrogen providing. In our testing, so we fabricate the testing machine in our factory, and then so we test it. During the testing, we provide a high pressure gas in a domestic, so provide from the domestic hydrogen station. So, but in the terminal, there is a lot of crane and then difficult to provide so this the hydrogen, this crane, that crane, that crane. So another problem is the hydrogen providing. So go ahead. Okay, and then so we tested in a factory, and then so after that, we just start the commercial operation in Los Angeles. Just yesterday, we announced the press release about the starting of the hydrogen crane commercial operation in Los Angeles. And also that terminal is the Houston terminal in Los Angeles. Okay, and then that's that. And then, so this one is the Japanese government funding project. Okay, so we developed the crane and now available crane. And then, so next one is for the future of the hydrogen zero emission container handling. Again, so we developed and we can deliver the hydrogen powered crane. But today's hydrogen station is they are using a hydrogen compressor like this one. So it is about hydrogen compressor specified 340 normal cubic meter per hour, about 30 kilogram per hour. But our crane consumes 3 to 4 kilogram per hour, one crane. So if there are the 20 cranes, they need a lot of the hydrogen. Furthermore, not only container crane, but also truck or forklift, a lot of the handling machine is available in a container terminal. So we have to provide a lot of the hydrogen. So we developed another new product. That one is almost 3 times capacity of the compressor of the existing one. We can provide such kind of new products. And also, we are developing the digitization of the container terminal, data container terminal to control, to manage the fueling timing. You know, there is a lot of container crane, and then, so we have to put on a hydrogen here, there. So we have to manage the how many fuel remain for each crane and what is the best timing to fueling the hydrogen. So such kind of the digitization system can achieve to the manage in data twin. Okay. And the last one is so I explained about the hydrogen system. But today, unfortunately, it is difficult to get the hydrogen, a lot of hydrogen, and so cheap the price. Until such kind of the future, we can provide such kind of the near zero emission system. This system is a small diesel engine on board, but the same size of the hydrogen power pack. In the future, we can replace this one to there. So that is my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Mr. Ichimura, thank you very much for your interesting presentation on this new green cargo handling equipment. So I'm sure that along with maritime transport, carbon reduction at ports is also very important. So now I will start to select questions on the first 3 presentations and request the relevant presenter to respond. So the first question is for Mr. Mochizuki. Yeah, this is from Mr. Passavilan. So the question is the RFID and the big data analytics regulated by single government agency only? what are the common setback so far and how to address it? And also, this technology can be applied in the Philippines. Yeah. So, Mr. Mochizuki.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Actually, the operation itself of this logistic data bank services is done by maybe I should say a company called NLDS. So this is a half NICDC owned and a half NEC owned. So this is not a public authority. So, but it's providing the service in an open and transparent way to any stakeholders of logistics. Now, what's played by the government as a role, I mean, public authority as a role, is to set up this framework. For instance, how the container owners are mandated to deposit some money so that this logistic data bank service is, going in a consistent way. So this is how the government guidance worked very well, but the operation itself, I understand, is done by a company. I hope this answered your question. And is there any setback? I'm not sure about this so far. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Mochizuki. So for Mr. Koizumi and Mr. Ichimura, I have a similar question to each of you. Yeah. So Mr. Koizumi, as you mentioned, it seems this biofuel is very promising. And then, as you mentioned, biofuel can be generated from agricultural waste. So meaning that it does not necessarily affect food market, if my understanding is correct. So, but still, the share of biofuel is very, very tiny, although there is promising. So you mentioned there is a technical challenges, and of course, yeah, it's understandable. But in addition to technical challenges, do you see any major challenges to make this biofuel utilized widely?
Yeah, there are two major challenges we are facing. One is a price. Price is still a little bit expensive than the common or traditional fuel oil. So this is a kind of the headache for us because the shipper, the customer cannot pay even though we are using expensive fuels. So this is one headache. But the second one is availability. Even though the potential resources are available, but still there is not so much means, or there is no such industry to produce enough fuel, biofuel oil, which is used by the shipping company. That's why this, I mean, the two scenario is a little bit close. Maybe because availability is low, maybe the price is up. So how we gonna increase, the fuel availability, biofuel availability is one of the challenges we are facing. But because we are a shipping company, we are not a biofuel producer. So we have to work with them so that we can achieve the decarbonization together with them as a corporation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koizumi. And Mr. Ichimura, similar question. Now, when we visit countries, many countries show their interest to introduce a port greening initiative. And then I'm sure this hydrogen-powered cranes should be a very potential option for them to promote port greening. Yeah, so similar to Mr. Koizumi, in addition to this technical difficulty, is there any challenges to make this technology to utilized widely? Thank you.
So our technical challenge is the amount of to install the hydrogen on board. So that because so we provide we install the high pressure hydrogen tank on board, but that one is install the hydrogen to work about 16 hours. So 16 hours is not, some terminal is not enough to operate the 2 shift or 3 shift. Some terminal is working 24 hours. And then so we have to put in more hydrogen on board. And but on the other hand, the space is limited, and then so we have to so high up to the high pressure. So right now we use the 70 megapascal. It is the same as the automotive one. And but in the future, so we think about using liquid hydrogen or something. That is technical challenge. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mochizuki, Mr. Koizumi, and Mr. Ichimura for your response to the inquiries. So now let's move on to the next three presentations. The first presentation is on the eco-friendly cold chain solution, utilizing insulation boxes and visualization of delivery. So this presentation will be made by Mr. Hirofumi Kanbe, manager of SEA Business Development Team, New Business Development Department, Mobility Operations from Dai Nippon Printing Corporation Limited. Mr. Kanbe, the floor is yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Kanbe from Dai Nippon Printing. I'm so excited to be here and it's an honor to present. Okay, let's get started. What I'm going to present is eco-friendly cold chain solution. Okay, but before moving on to the main topic, let me briefly touch on our company profile. We are a printing company, but not a conventional printing company with 150 years of history, with annual sales of 11 billion US dollars. And we have workforce of over 36,000 employees worldwide. And as for bases, other than Japan, we have concentrated in mainly 3 regions, including North America, Western Europe, and of course, Asia, as you can see in the map. And this page shows net sales by segment. And I belong to one of the 9 business operations called mobility operation under life and healthcare segment. And this box is today's main character I'm going to present later. And other than that, as you can see, many products in the slide. We have started, of course, with business of printing of books originally 150 years ago, but we had to adapt to so many changes over the history, and we have diversified our products. Anyway, so let's move on to our main topic today. So I'd like to give you a general idea of what I'm going to deliver today at first. So actually, I'm so excited about to present this. As for transport of medical products, it's done by, formally, it's done by refrigerated trucks in order to maintain the required temperature of 2 to 8 degrees. But instead of using refrigerated trucks, we have introduced our installation box and the delivery management system. And actually, this is already in place here in Manila. Just started in March, though. So some of the graphics in the slide is extracted from our delivery management system. And what I believe that you can get through our solutions are cost reduction, CO2 emission reduction, then efficient operation would lead to cost reduction as well, I believe. Okay, let me explain some of the background and assumptions that led us to the cold chain solutions. In 2022, 2 years ago, we have established a joint venture company in the Philippines with 2 other companies in order to provide logistics mobility services. And what the company offers so far are 1, delivery management system, and 2, a smart cold chain solution. Okay, from next page, I'll introduce a little bit more about those products. And with regard to delivery management system, it enables you to assign job orders to your drivers efficiently through our system online. And you can have more efficient routes. And you can track delivery statuses in real time. And even after the delivery, you can check the track record anytime. And finally, you can have well-organized, consolidated performance data in the system. So also, I believe you can have reduction of cost through the usage of this delivery management system. Okay, let's move on to the main topic today I'm going to deliver. And the main concept of this solution is to realize temperature-controlled deliveries or transports without using refrigerated trucks. And instead of refrigerated trucks, you can use our installation box without electricity with advanced ice packs and our delivery management system. So it enables you to have mixed loading deliveries or transports with double, even more temperature range deliveries. Okay, let me share some of the benefits you can get through our solutions in 3 aspects. In ecology aspect, you can have waste reduction using our reusable installation box and reusable ice packs instead of using disposable styrofoam box. You can also have reduction of CO2 emissions instead of using dry ice, instead of having separate arrangements of refrigerated and regular trucks. And in costing aspect, I believe you can, of course, reduce your costing through our reusable equipment. Also, you can reduce the separate arrangements of refrigerated and regular trucks. Then you can also reduce operational burden through our delivery management system. And finally, in opportunity aspect, you can create more opportunities to deliver temperature-controlled goods or products. Since we have noticed or we have studied, especially in Manila, securing refrigerated trucks during peak season, what you call burr months, September, October, November, December. Peak season is difficult in the Philippines in case you don't own sufficient refrigerated trucks to cover your transport. Okay, this page shows some of the DNP technologies supporting the smart cold chain solutions. And the lineup of DNP installation boxes are various, and but mainly or basically available only in Japan. But we try to introduce those boxes in the Philippine market, but also hopefully want to introduce in many other Asian countries. And yeah, thanks to our high performance film design technology, we could win the environment related award in Japan in 2019. We also have developed our original temperature simulation software to get the right configuration of PCMs, phase change materials, what you call, what type of PCMs, how many of such PCMs to be used, each different type of products, something like that. Okay, from here, I'm going to just touch on some of the case examples we did so far. Last year, DNP was selected for a Japanese government project, and we conducted a proof of concept here in Manila. And this project triggered us to dive in the market. And this example is conducted in Malaysia and for the transport of milk beverages. And what you can check is the graph on the right bottom. Sorry, it's a bit too small, so, but there are so many temperature spikes in the graph. That was the timing of delivery at each store. The doors of the box were open and got temperature increase instantly, but the boxes were able to maintain the required temperature range of 2 to 8 degrees during the whole delivery. And finally, the case example is the test transportation of leafy vegetables in Japan. And we could manage the temperature of 5 to 10 degrees for 24 hours. And also we confirmed the condition of vegetables. No change was found in the condition of vegetables before and after transportation. And the reason why I chose this example, even this is just test case though, because I've heard so many challenges or problems regarding the transport of agricultural produces in the Philippines. I believe that those challenges are seen in many other Asian countries as well. So we hope we can support solving such problems in the long run. And this is just reference regarding the cold chain market in the Philippines, but not only in the Philippines, but also some ASEAN countries. And of course, we found steady increase for the future. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Mr. Kambe, thank you very much for your informative presentation on the eco-friendly cold chain solution. It seems the installation box can expand the trade of temperature-sensitive items, including food and medical stuff. So we can see a great potential for that. So the next presentation is on logistics technology that balances food freshness preservation and decarbonization. The presenter is Mr. Takenori Iwamoto, Associate Professor, Faculty of Business Administration from Shizuoka Sangyo University. So Mr. Iwamoto, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Takenori Iwamoto. I'm from Shizuoka Sanyo University in Japan. At first, I have document. English is my strong suit. I'm very nervous now. However, with your support and smiles, I'm eager to share this time with you. Thank you. Any advice for your kindness? Well, my field of the expertise is social engineering and well-being, marketing and mobility design are part of this work. By the way, my university specializes in regional innovation and solving local challenges. So many of you might have visited Japan. My university is located in Fujieda City in Shizuoka Prefecture, which is in the central part of Japan. And so in my research, I often encounter valuable local products such as seafood and the tea, which are too precious, so confined to local circulation. And maintaining freshness while seafood to foreign countries present significant challenges. This brings up to the concept of cold chain logistics, which has been a focus of research for many years. Today, I'm not just going to talk about this technology, but also effort to decarbonize the supply chain. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, the company involved in this venture is called Denba, based in Tokyo, Japan. This company is pioneering the development of a new cold chain technology. I entered into the research agreement with Denba to explore logistics solutions that not only utilize their innovative technology, but also achieve decarbonization, aiming to address global logistics challenges. Thus, well, okay. Thus, my presentation today might only touch on the potential aspirations of these efforts, but I want to share with you that companies and researchers like us actively pursuing these solutions. If I were to add a subtitle to today's presentation, it would be a challenging high energy consumption through a cold chain system utilizing a new freezing technology. So today, I will start by introducing Denba's technology. Second, I will show the relationship between energy consumption and CO2 emission using the COP index. Finally, I will discuss the future challenges and the prospects related to the technology. The technology I'm discussing today, known as Denba Plus, enhances food preservation by vibration water molecules. Specifically, this vibration prevents the water molecules from binding too closely together, stopping the formation of sharp ice crystals during freezing. As a result, ice crystals form in a more rounded shape, preventing damage to the cell membranes of the food. This process significantly reduces drip loss when the food is thawed, meaning that less water leaks out, helping maintain freshness and reducing bacterial growth. I'm excited to share how this innovation could transform food logistics and preservation globally. Denba applies this technology in their refrigeration and freezing processes. Sorry. This is a small device. On the left side, you can see, as you can see, it emits electromagnetic waves that evenly affect the entire interior of the storage unit and the food within. particularly the use of this technology in low temperature refrigeration deserves special attention. Here you can see the refrigeration of strawberries by applying Denver's technology. As you can observe on the right side, not only is the quality of the strawberries maintained at a high level, but the shelf life is also extended by up to 5 times. This result highlights the significant impact of this technology on food preservation. Next, you can see the freezing of oyster. I like oyster. While the photos may not clearly convey the details, there is a video available on YouTube that demonstration this technology. Also, the video is in Japanese. I encourage you to use the translation features. Additionally, it's worth mentioning that this next generation cold chain technology has received prestigious awards within Japan. I recommended watching the video later to gain a deeper appreciation of this innovative approach. This is a YouTube address. So next slide is one freezing company shows result to me and Denver to me. As a result of an independent study conducted by a freezing equipment manufacturer, the following finding may be of interest. This slide shows the comparison of the COP index based on different warehouse temperatures. I'm sorry, Japanese. Minus 80 degrees, and the cooling capacity is 5.66 kilowatt. The power consumption is 4.8 to 5 kilowatt, and the COP is 1.17. You can see minus 30 degrees. So please compare. The next at minus 18 degrees, the system uses slightly more power, but has better performance. Products stored at minus 80 degrees, it can maintain their freshness better. Efficient operations is possible, maintaining high cooling capacity with low power. Just efficient freezing at minus 18 degrees, it can reduce energy consumption and maintain products freshness. Significant CO2 reduction, it can be expected. As mentioned earlier, Denver Plus is a technology that keeps food fresh by vibration water molecules forming loud ice crystals. This prevents membrane chain damage and reduces drip loss. What is remarkable about the Denver is its effectiveness in any refrigeration environment. For my final point, I'd like to express my ambition to utilize Denver's technology for the distribution of balanced fresh produce around the world. This approach not only promises to enhance the quality and longevity of these products, but also supports sustainable practices in the local supply chain. Okay. However, there are numerous challenges that we need to address. For instance, optimize transport route is a significant hurdle. This is involves complex network problem, often compared to the traveling salesman problem. Additionally, on the data relation, relation side, we need to establish robust logistics management systems, including Web EDI, TMS, and WMS. These systems are crucial for efficient managing and distribution fresh products using Denba's technology. And another critical aspect to consider until the point products with the final consumer is pricing. Pricing not only reflects the cost, but also signifies the perceived value of the product. With this in mind, the concept of trade-off becomes a key topic for discussion. We need to balance the benefits of using advanced technologies like Denba's with the costs involved, ensuring that the value we deliver justifies the price. This balance is essential for widespread adoption and customer satisfaction. Next, from a business perspective, for example, KZI and KPI, last is return on asset. Okay, next, I propose adapting the concept of mobility as a service, so to speak, MaaS, which is a key trend in mobility services, and combining it with logistics explorer cold chain logistics from a new perspective. This approach would lead to the creation of logistics as a service. Thus, by building on this model, I aim to develop a more integrated and efficient system that enhance the sustainability and the effectiveness of the cold chain process. So today, I have shared not just hypotheses, but only some imaginative vision. If you are interested, I would be delighted for you to join this research. For more detailed explanation, Denba will provide further information. I will provide a QR code for Denba's homepage for your convenience. Please feel free to these resources. I hope that all these efforts will contribute to well-being. Thank you for your attention. I forgot, if you have any questions, please ask ChatGPT. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ayamoto. I'm sure also you can answer questions, not necessarily we need to ask ChatGPT, but thank you very much for your sharing your experience on the new freezing technology. I'm very impressed by the food conditions preserved with this Denba freezing technology. Yeah, I'm sure the strawberries and the oysters stored with this technology taste much better. So after the next presentation, again, we will have the second Q&A session. So if you have any questions on the previous two presentations, insulation box and this Denba technology, please start posting your questions through the app. So today's last presentation is about cost-effective and environment-friendly VTOL logistics for remote areas. This will be presented by Mr. Satoru Shimada, board director from Aerosense Incorporated. So Mr. Shimada, we are all ears.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to ADB and the Cabinet Secretariat of Japan. I'm very honored to speak in front of you together with very large corporations. I think I'm the only startup in the first session. Okay, let me start. So to start with, this is a kind of shocking trend in Japan. It says after 2050, about 40% of current municipalities potentially vanish due to aging and decreasing population. So this shows some challenges to us because more and more people, especially elderly people, live in remote areas, and they using the public transportations, and they cannot drive themselves because of its age. So Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, Tourism, and the Ministry of Environment in Japan tries to promote drone delivery in Japan. And this also contributes to the reduction of CO2 emissions, because usually drones are driven by batteries, not gasoline. And this is the example we did in the northern part of Japan. It's near Sendai city. And I found out that if I look at their statistics in this Osato town, 80% of their usage for kind of local taxi services are for this shopping and especially getting medicines. Not very kind of moving around. It's more about logistics. So I thought that we could replace this 80% of their usage by drone delivery. If it's a short range, we can use multi-copter type drone. And if it's a long range, like a 10, maybe more than 10 kilometers, we can use this VTOL type drones. And I calculated how much CO2 reduction we can actually do using this drone delivery. This is just detailed calculations, but the thing is in the bottom figure, so we can reduce about 90% because we don't use gasolines. That's a key message. And in terms of cost reduction, because it's battery driven, you only use electricity, and which is cheaper than gasoline. So you can reduce about 30% compared with using taxis or cars and gasolines. So especially I'd like to focus on this VTOL today because maybe you haven't heard VTOL yet before. This is kind of in middle between very small kind of normal drone and helicopters and Cessna. And this can, our current model can fly up to 50 kilometers. And the next model will be 150 kilometers, all battery driven. And this system combines this VTOL telecommunications and cloud system. And it's not kind of operated by manually, it's all automatic. So it's very easy to use. And maybe this image explains how VTOL works. As you can see, it's vertical takeoff and vertical landing. That's why it's called VTOL. And once it's in the air, it changes to a fixed wing mode. And that in that way, you can go much further and faster. And this is a world drone competition, actually last summer. And it was, we are given some missions to complete. And one of them was to locate this point to drop off. And that was done manually actually on the site because it can change to the multi-copter type drone and hover. And then we drop it and we change to the fixed wing mode and it's returned automatically. So that's how VTOL works. And lastly, we are now developing a much bigger version because the current model has only 1 kilogram payload and the maximum distance is 50 kilometers, which is not very good for the logistics purposes. So we are making bigger one, which can carry up to 10 kilogram. And the maximum distance would be 150 kilometers with 10 kilogram payload. And this is just an example of Hawaii. So if you use this new version, you can cover the entire Hawaii Islands using just 3 VTOLs. And Japan, as well as Philippines, we have so many islands. And so I think this VTOL can be a new means to deliver medicines, some food for the future. Thank you very much.
Mr. Shimada, thank you very much for your interesting presentation on VTOL logistics. In Asia and the Pacific, many areas have limited access to markets, and this technology can help resolve these issues. So now I will select questions on the second set of 3 presentations. So first question is, I think this is mainly for Mr. Iwamoto. So the question is from Mr. Ishii. So originally, microwave is used for rising temperature, but in Mr. Iwamoto's presentation, we can reduce the energy consumption freezing by it. So what mechanism works on it? Yeah, Mr. Iwamoto, please.
Thank you for your question. I'm sorry, and I don't know the detail, and I will check with them for more details and then reply. Thank you in advance. Is it okay?
Okay. So you will follow up.
Yes.
Not ChatGPT. No?
Yeah. Sorry. I have not ChatGPT.
Okay. Good.
I'm sorry.
Good. Yeah, good. So yeah, I have one question each for Mr. Kanbe and Mr. Shimada. First, Mr. Kanbe. So you introduced the case of the Philippines, and then maybe you have also operation in Japan. But in Japan or in the Philippines, the domestic transportation is mainly by trucks. So we can easily imagine how this box can be brought into trucks. But if we consider, cross-border transport, also maritime and also aviation transport. So this box can be utilized cross-border transport too? Or if so, what is the challenges or possibility for that? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, actually we have also POC, proof of concept, that we did the transport from Japan to other countries, including to Singapore. And I'm not really familiar, but some of the Southeast Asian countries, but it's not commercially in operation. So the challenges we found was including the duration of time, because our box is basically insulation. So insulated box, so we can keep the temperature inside for a long time. So, but we also get the power from PCMs, phase change materials. So we need a lot of such PCMs to keep the temperature. So that means it increases the weight as well. So probably, yeah, we need to find out the best practices to make it happen. But hopefully, yeah, thanks, because of our insulation technology, we want to make it happen soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanbe. So the last question is for Mr. Shimada. Actually, yeah, we have received one question from Mr. or Miss Fikingas. I think this question is not specifically for you, but also it's related to you. So the question is, are there any financial incentives or government programs that can support the adoption of this technology? And what support do private companies receive from the government in upscaling this technology? Yeah.
Thank you. Is that in Japan or?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. If you have any cases in Japan or other countries, you can mention both.
So yes, in Japan, they are now trying to promote a lot of new activities, especially driven by startups in Japan. But as a startups, you don't people don't know you, so it's very helpful if the governments kind of back up our activities as well as financially. So like if for example, drone delivery, it's about how people live in rural areas. It's not just about you, them. It's really about how we should live in that area. So yes, Japanese governments and local municipalities, if they are kind of together in the same project, that really help us to promote what we are doing, and that I'm very grateful for that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shimada, Mr. Kambe, and Mr. Iwamoto for answering the questions. Since our time is up, let me conclude here. So the technologies presented today offer additional options for us to promote further decarbonization. The situation surrounding transport and logistics varies from country to country, and we hope each country can find the appropriate set of technologies to achieve their own carbon reduction targets based on today's discussion. As we mentioned at the beginning, even after this session, we encourage to communicate between participants and presenters if you have any additional comments or questions. So before we adjourn this session, please join me in giving a big round of applause to today's speakers. So we will now take a coffee break. The next session will start at 4 p.m. So please return to your seats before then. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. So please, presenters, go on the podium, please, so that we can start, the last session soon. Yeah. Hi, 1番で、はい。じゃあ、いかさんで、ションマイモーション。Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back to the venue. Okay, so number is a little bit reduced. But, this is the last but not the least, session of the Transport Forum. I understand that, the remaining, participants are most passionate and diligent, participants of the forum. So I appreciate, your interactive, comments for the presentations. So this session is, green mobility. So it's quite, a good topic for this transport forum. As you see that, clean transport for all, green mobility is core of this theme of this transport forum. So we have like 6 presenters, and same as, session 1, we will make, first 3 presenters first and have small Q&A session, and last, 3 presenters, then finally, have a Q&A session again. So without further ado, I'd like to start the session. So the first presentation is the EV battery enabling 6 minutes rapid charging and over 20,000 cycle durability, revolutionizing the operation of electric bus and autonomous mobile robots. So the presenter is Mr. Haruchika Ishii, the Senior Manager, Business Development Department, Battery Sales and Business Development Division, and also Battery Division, the Toshiba. The floor is yours, Mr. Ishii.
Thank you so much. So reading this long title. And then, so I'm very glad to be here today. So most surprising thing is that on first day of this session, forum, I can see this, so up to the app. That is very important for me. And then, so I want to, today I want to introduce our battery cell SCIB. So as like this. So the agenda is as like that. Then, so that today we have this various kind of this application so much, but so that today I will concentrate to explain about the EV bus usage. So our battery SCRB is not popular in the Asian area, but so when we see this European countries, so more than the 1,800 buses on the road, then in over so around the world, it comes to be more than the 2,000 buses. And then so I want to explain how it works well in such area. Firstly, I need to say that our battery is a very, very high price. Sometimes it comes to be twice than the others or more than that. But so our customer in Europe and the other area is using the battery, but why? Yes, it's a case study of this one thing. So please look at this graphic. And then, so please imagine, here's the one go around the route for the EV bus. And then this bus is starting the operation from 6 to 10 o'clock. At that moment, so for the conventional lithium-ion battery, when for example, 4 hours later, it comes to be the battery capacity will be 0, and then they need to go back to the depot for charging. And then it takes a 4 hours as like this. And then, so for that, bus A need to go to the depot. At that moment, the other bus D need to come into the route. And then finally, we need to have the 6th bus for the operation. Then, so it is a little bit difficult. It is so difficulty of the EV bus current situation. But so our battery, not time to be, okay. Our battery having the trait as like this. So charge it within 6 minutes. It works well. And then because of that, even the so battery is, I'm sorry, bus A's battery is coming, capacity is coming to the 0. And then another bus will be coming. But so next bus B is coming to the same situation at that moment. 6 minutes later, bus A can come into the same route. And because of that, we can reduce the number of the EV bus. That is how it works like this. And then because of that, so we can reduce the bus numbers as like that. But so another aspect I want to explain, please look at this area, comparison with between the rapid charge system and then normal EV bus system. Please look at this blue area. Our battery can recharge within 6 minutes or something like that. Because of that, we only need to have only 1 round route capacity for each vehicle. Then, because of that, so rapid charge battery need to have the very smaller capacity than the normal EV bus. Because of that, we can justify the high price. So this EV, and then because of that, another one benefit we can have, we can put the lighter weight battery in each vehicle. Because of that, you can utilize a very larger cabin for it, and also weight for the vehicle is getting lighter. Then it means that you can enjoy the lower energy consumption for the operation. Sometimes we need for the considering the left side. So sometimes we need to have the very long distance for having the more efficient operation. At that moment, we need to put the more battery capacity for each vehicle. But so at that moment, vehicle's weight is getting higher. Then you need to have the more lower energy consumption. Because of that, we need so it can be work very well. So these are the coming from the rapid charge system, but so rapid charge property is only needed, but it's not so. So please compare again these two graphic. Look at the normal EV bus. So for each day, each vehicle need to charge up twice in a day. But so upper side, each vehicle each day is 12 times charge and discharge is required. Then it means that very longer life, cycle life is required for this kind of operation. Then I mean that for having this kind of good benefit, rapid charge property with a very long life is required for this kind of operation. Then, for the sustainable urban transport, as I said, we can our battery can offer the material reduction in terms of the bus numbers for operation and the battery materials used, and the charging facility can be reduced, and also the longer lifetime. And also in terms of the energy consumption, so we can reduce. So because of the lightweight of the vehicles. Then finally, final issue is the safety. I want to explain. So this is the obvious test result of the net penetration test of our battery SCIB. Even the net penetration at this moment, okay, conventional lithium ion, if we apply this kind of the conventional test for the conventional lithium ion, it can have this explosion with the catching fire. But even we did net penetration for the cell, but only the temperature rising we can see. No explosion or no catching fire. Why we can have this kind of things? So our batteries specialized point is only the negative material only. You can see that, so carbon is used for the conventional lithium ion battery, but SCIB is using the lithium titanium oxide. And also you can see the powder color is white. And then, so originally high resistance. Sometimes black powder having the very good conductivity, electric conductivity, but this material having the high resistance. But when this charged up, this white color is turned to be gray with a black. Then they can have the conductive phase for the charge and discharge. Because of that, we can do the rapid charge and something like that. Then, for example, if the net penetration as like this is happened on there at that moment, for the carbon, a red line is this dotted red line is showing the voltage reduction to getting lower during the only 1 minute. Within the 1 minute, it happens. But the lithium titanium oxide is taking so much time for the getting lower voltage. Why it happens? So the penetration is happened on like this. And then next, so high resistance area is emerging in there, existing in here, because that discharge is happened in this area. And then it controls the current for the internal short circuit. And then this area is gradually increased. And then resistance is getting higher and higher when the discharge happens. Then because of that, it takes much time for the discharge, and then temperature rising is also controlled well. Because of that, our batteries are having the very safety system practically. Then, because of that, we think that this can be contribute to the a sustainable urban transport. Then with this AMR, I explained about the EV bus application, but in same kind of the usage can be done in the warehouse. At this moment, that this kind of robot is working well in a e-commerce business warehouse, and then they can deliver the item to the as soon as possible. Then because of our rapid charge property and also the longer lifetime, then we can reduce the number of the robots. Then why I said this kind of things? Please imagine that it can be. I expect that if the autonomous drive can be done in the city side vehicle, for example, autonomous drive taxi with the rapid charge system can be do the same things in the city side. And then, that is my expectation. Then, so today I explained a little bit, but so please check our website and make the comment or the question to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ishii, for great presentation. So, yeah, for e-bus planning, actually, it's important to optimize the size of the battery, charging unit. This is kind of difficulty of the e-bus planning, but this battery system allows you more flexibility in the planning of the bus combination of the battery bus charging unit. So this will broaden the applicability of the e-bus system in many countries. Thank you very much. So next one is the presentation on the public bus service system. So the presentation is pioneering the path towards electrifying the public bus network, challenge of a bus operator. So the presenter is Mr. Ko Motoyoshi, manager of Michinori Holding Incorporated in Japan. So the floor is yours, Mr. Motoyoshi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ko Motoyoshi from Michinori Holdings. In my presentation, I will introduce the past and now and the future challenges of ours. We pride itself on having the most electrification plan for buses in Japan. Please relax and enjoy this presentation. So the relax and enjoy part is more of reminder for myself because so I have not spoken English a long time. Yeah, so a joke aside, so let's get started. First, let me introduce our company. We are Michinori Holdings. We founded in 2009. It's 15 years ago. We have also about 5,500 employees in entire group. As our company's name, we are holding company. We have some business domain like transport, mainly city bus, intercity bus, charter bus. Also, we have taxi, railway, monorail, and so our SIP. Also, we have engaged in tourism, hotel, travel agency, and vehicle maintenance. Here is our main companies in under group. We own about 2,500 buses in entire group. One of the top company in Japan about the number of buses. This is so map plotting basis, our basis. Maybe so Mr. Shimada says last session, so some area have a risk of sustainability. We are operating this area like Tohoku and the eastern regions. So this is our features in strategies. We specialize in corporate revitalization. We acquire companies that struggle, such as those undergoing civil rehabilitation. And we send our own management teams to these companies. Our approach is based on two key factors. Firstly is vertical function, we said. We sent new appointment management, and also they do the reform to sustainable company. And we have also one strategy. It is horizontal function. We carry out cross-functional carry out by specialized members across the group. We call this approach to vertical and horizontal group management. I belong to horizontal this digitalization. And also, we are also engaged in various initiatives to solve social issues and improve productivity. For example, usability improvement and operation improvement. We start to, I focus on, in my presentation, this point about bus electrification and also energy management. Okay, let's start. So e-bus implementation topics. So our group has been worked on bus electrification from 2012. It's about 10 years ago. It is ahead of many Japanese companies. We are continuously exploring how to achieve high quality e-bus operations, which emphasizes high punctuality, safety, and reliable services. We are actively learning and experimenting to determine the necessary operation and additional infrastructure, also system. I briefly introduced our initiatives for 10 years. In 2012, we started e-bus project. We installed one retrofit e-buses, just only 40 kilowatt-hour. It is you feel like so small, but it was 10 years ago. It was so expensive. Also, it is suitable for demonstration. And for after 4 years, 2017, we started. We installed full e-buses, about three number of e-buses. After 6 years, last year, 2023, last year, we electrified 10 buses in 3 operators. This project is supported by NEDO under the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. We aim to develop a full package electrification operation that maintains Japanese quality while reducing cost comparing to diesel bus. We plan to free electrification 5 locations by 2030, with some locations expected to be completed by 2026. Keeping Japanese quality services requires appropriate service support system for full electrification. Japanese quality means high punctuality and excellent customer experience service and safety. For those living abroad, if you visit Japan, you will try to ride a city bus, maybe such as apologize for delay of only few minutes. You can see what is important by bus operator. I am extremely proud of these Japanese qualities. Now let's move on next slide. I will explain the major challenges bus operator face in electrification. Here are 4 main obstacles to electrification. Firstly, high initial cost. E-bus is also expensive comparing to diesel. Also, and if you want to use e-buses, you need to implement other assets like chargers or something like that. It is so expensive. Secondly, stability of energy supply. This depends on area and country. But some area is in some area you cannot use energy unstable. Third, lack of electricity expertise. Our bus operation staff is not expertise in electricity. They are specialists about the bus operation and driving and maintenance. Finally, battery and charging technology is also a little bit problem, but you mentioned already, trying to improvement. Because comparing to diesel buses, the electrification technology is not yet fully matured. For instance, if a battery could charge from 10% to 100% for 1 sec, we can use e-buses similarly to diesel bus, but it is not possible. We have focused on 2 key challenges to leverage the cost benefits of electric buses. It is crucial to integrate electrical knowledge and experience into operations. This includes determining when to charge and what output, how many kilowatts. Such integration is essential for the broader adoption of electrification. We are continuously accumulating knowledge and experience through try and error, gradually becoming experts in electric bus operations. We have developed an electric bus operation support system based on the extensive knowledge and experience we have gained from introducing and operating electric buses. Looking towards the future of electrification, we have formed a consortium with Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO, expert in electricity. Together, we are developing a system that comprehensively plans and control both operation management and power supply demand management. We have found that including electric bus charging in our operational planning can help reduce cost. This system uses this plan to set the best charging levels through the supply demand management system. By charging more frequency, we can use smaller batteries, as he mentioned, in e-buses and small capacity chargers. This helps reduction initial cost. By implementing and operating the system, almost no new expertise is required at the operational level. We plan to deploy this system not only across Japan, but also internationally. This system, packed with Japanese operational planning and management technology, this is Japanese quality, will enable us to deliver high quality bus services globally while spreading Japanese quality operations. However, I do not believe that merely developing and implementing a system will drive electrification. To promote electrification and roll out the excellent Japanese quality of operation services, collaboration with various stakeholders is so essential. For example, OEM cooperation is needed to use vehicle data. If a bus broken down and there are no capability to maintenance, we cannot use buses. Also, government and local authority support, as well as financial backing through loans or carbon credits or something like that. This is crucial. Achieving electrification requires everyone's cooperation. In conclusion, I take great pride in the quality of our operations in Japan. I believe that if this standard spreads globally, the use of buses as a means of public transportation will increase. This will enhance the social significance of buses. Our system is just one component to help achieve this goal. I look forward to collaborating with all of stakeholders. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to all the organizers and also attendees for this valuable opportunity. It is a great honor. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Motoyoshi, for sharing the experience of the electrification, from a bus operator side. Actually, from me, it was really, impressing that, the Michinori Holding, got, purchased multiple bus operators, and they are achieving like economy of scale, and what they say, horizontal function, so that standard among these companies are achieved. So it's really, really, a great sharing the experience. So before going to the third speakers, please let me remind that your question can be typed in your apps. So please share your questions through the apps. So the third presenter, the last, the presenter for the first, half of this session is for JICA Corporation on Railway O&M and Sustainable and Green Transportation. The presenter is Mr. Takehiro Kawahashi, representative of JICA Philippine office. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Kawahashi. I am from Japan International Cooperation Agency. So thank you very much for the occasion today. So today I'd like to talk about the railway operation and the maintenance. So I hope some of them are from the railway sector, but otherwise, so please share this presentation to your colleagues working in the railway sector also. So we think that high quality railway operation and maintenance is really important to achieve the enough modal shift. Otherwise, so even though you introduce a new technologies, but so if the operation and maintenance is not appropriate, it's really difficult to achieve that. So I'm not talking about high technology today because there are so many people who are talking about high technologies. But I'd like to talk about what the government side need to do with our cooperation. This is quite important to accept such new technologies. So this picture shows the case of the MLT3 in Philippines. Maybe some of you may know. So this is so we can learn some good example from this case because regarding the high quality O&M because it started operation in 2000 and in the beginning Japanese contractor supported the maintenance, but after Japanese contractor left this project, it happened that some deterioration of the parts or the facilities because of the low quality of the maintenance, of lack of spare parts. And finally, this performance decreased a lot, like operation speed down from 60 kilometers per hour to 25 kilometers. And also the headway was 4 minutes to 10 minutes. And no punctual and sometimes malfunctions, air conditions. So they lost the trust from the public. So that's really a big issue in this country at the time. So to improve the situation, JICA started to support the operation, the rehabilitation and the maintenance from 2018. So recovery of performance with a Japanese contractor has been made. And at that time, so the speed has increased from 25 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers, and also headway recovered from 10 minutes to 4 minutes. And finally, we assure that they recover the trust from the public also. That's really important. So from this case, we learned that it's the high quality maintenance and operation is really important. So today I would like to talk about our assistance regarding operation and maintenance development. And also I would like to talk about how they can achieve the high quality maintenance by explaining one is the comprehensive understanding and well-organized plan for O&M development. And the second one is the harmonization with the construction timeline. So I don't need to spend so much time for this part because it is clear that in the urban situation, that urban railway is really important to mitigate the traffic congestion, some issues like urban issues. But the number 4 points is really important. It is a safe and reliable railway for further border shift. So it should be zero accident, and also it should be very, very punctual. So to achieve such situation, those are the JICA's assistance towards our partner countries. So we provide a yen loan, we construct new lines, also sometimes we support O&M, and also during that time, so they hired consultant, also Japanese contractors. So from them also they can receive the technical transfer. And also we provide a technical assistance to the recipient countries. So which includes the policy regulations, finance schemes, and organizational structures, and also human resource development. Such things are really important to install new technologies also. And also we do the dissemination of JICA's experience. We do seminar, and also recently we published O&M handbook and brochure. So today I would like to talk about some kind of some point of this handbook and brochure. We issued a handbook in 2022. The purpose of this handbook and brochure is to share the basic knowledge about the railway O&M in development, and also JICA's past experience to partner countries for better preparation on government side. So because if regulations are not so well prepared and functioning, and if capacity on government side is not enough, so even if they introduce new technologies, they cannot utilize so correctly. So that's why the basic understanding on O&M is really important. So for the government side to ready for the new technologies, so we published this handbook and brochures. So in the handbook and brochures, I would like to emphasize these 3 points. The one is the comprehensive understanding of O&M development. It contains the basic knowledge, and also the O&M case studies and the past projects, or future projects also. And we organize, the second one is the organized understanding of the planning of O&M. And the third one is the harmonization with the construction timelines. This is a kind of the basic understanding of the railway O&M. So in the railway sector, so sectors are divided into very, very small parts. So it's really difficult to have a whole image of O&M. So that's why we defined what is O&M. And also this is aligned with, this is aligned with the project's timeline from FS to O&M. So I think the government side need to understand what is O&M. Otherwise, so they are very, very concentrated on the construction, but so not so much caring about O&M. So that's a problem. So that's why we defined O&M. And in the handbook, so we defined each items also. So in the handbook, they can understand what kind of things they need to consider in the for the O&M. It's really important. And next one from this part, so I like to talk about some cases, past cases which JICA supports. The number one is the Jakarta, Indonesia case, MRT Jakarta. I hope someone from Indonesia. So in this case, we support MRT Jakarta, which is operation the maintenance company, and they procured construction consultant and also contractors, as well as consultants for O&M. It's also a very important point. So thanks to the support of O&M, so they could organize organization, and also they could prepare the personnel. So that's why they could do the very nice operation in the first year. It was 2019. So as you can see the performance on your right below. And also, I'm talking about the harmonization of the construction. So you can see the construction timeline here. So at the same time of the construction, so we provided 3 times O&M assistance. Number one is the MCS, the second one is the OMCS, and third one is the OMC second. So first one, so we support for organizing the framework of the governance, and the second one, the preparation of rules or regulations, or also the personnel training, and the third one, the post-training also. So like this, Harmonization with the construction is really important. So it is important that before starting the construction, they need to do something for one of them also, and after that, they also need to do something for one of them. So such harmonization is really important. So based on those experience, so we also proposed this timeline. This is the consistent with construction timeline, and so one development needs to be considered like that. So in the beginning of the part, regulatory supervision systems or business schemes or related systems to be considered, but during the consultant means the construction stage, also they need to consider about the regulatory supervision system, and also establishment to operating organization also need to be considered. But on the pre-opening stage or the operation stage, they need to consider the establishment of framework and also establish the scale of facilities. So I would like a government agency to really understand this part and utilize for the new project. This is a very strong message from our side. And also there's another good case by the Philippine government. So we support the Philippines railway personnel training. In this case, so there is a construction project here. I'm sorry. So the Philippine government is now constructing a metro. So during that time, of course, they need to the capacitate the railway personnel in this country, and also they have some current railway lines operating. To build up the capacity of railway operation, they started to construct the training institutes as well as the formulation of the training system in this country. So they successfully started the training system, and also now they trained more than 2,700 people in this country. So this is one successful case. But important thing is that, so DOTR, it's a Department of Transportation in Philippines. So they initiated this project very well. So governments initiate. It's very, very important for this O&M case. So from those experience, one kind of well-organized O&M planning. So we propose a O&M checklist based on our past experience in other countries and also Japanese practices. So it's important to cover everything by some ways because sometimes it happens is that, so they are concentrated on some parts, and so they didn't cover some other parts. So it should be avoided. So every item should be covered. That's really important. So that's what so we propose this one, and like all the agencies to utilize this sheet. And based on this the sheet, so it's also our proposal to plan the well-organized O&M plan. So this is consistent with the construction timeline. Sometimes for the construction, they hire GC, and also during the construction, they hire E&M contractors, and also they hire the maintenance contractors. So considering those points, they need to allocate each O&M items in this table so that they can cover everything from the beginning to the end of the railway project. So that's really important. So I would like you, government agency to utilize this sheet also. And also I'd like to talk about some other projects we supported in other countries. Number one is the legal system on the regulatory bodies. This was done in Bangladesh and also Vietnam. And the second one is the railway safety improvement we did in India. So we support Indian railways with the assistance of Japanese government and Japanese private operators. Lastly, so I like to again emphasize safe and reliable O&M is really important, and this should be initiated by governments. And also to achieve those high quality O&M, the one is the comprehensive understanding and the well-organized O&M plan is important. The second one is the harmonization with the construction timelines. So for more details, I'd like you to access to this handbook. So I hope you can access to that. And can you share this to your friends also? Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kawahashi, for your good presentation. So now we got the great information, starting from technology which will achieve green mobility, and operators who actually operate this green mobility, and also from JICA, it's the system to create the operation system for the green mobility. It's quite wide range of the presentation was done. So I'd like to ask you to share your questions, but at this moment, while waiting for that, I'd like to have some question to first, Mr. Ishii. So I understand that this fast charger, fast charging battery will help operation of the bus system, but I assume that the required energy capacity of the battery charger would be quite high. Usually we consider like 300 kV is very high voltage charger, but in your case, what level of charger would be needed to operate your battery system?
Thank you. Thank you for your question. So sometimes such kind of the question we can receive. And then so for example, naturally, so that we have the so battery capacity on the each vehicle is as same as a normal EV bus. It takes a much higher rapid charger is required. Higher power rapid charger is required. But so because of the rapid charge, we can reduce the capacity of each bus, battery capacity of each buses, and then so we can reduce the charger capacity for it. And then one assumption I did so for the use case, and then sometimes so we can have the more smaller in terms of the transformer for the chargers. So for that, so normal EV bus, so in the same time, 3 chargers need to work at the same time. And then the backside of the charger, we need to have the big transformer for the 3 chargers. And then, so for the rapid charger, we need to have the 1 charger and 1 transformer. This transformer capacity is almost same or so less than the normal EV bus. That is calculated one time. And then so I want to do this, if there's some use case you can show, and then so we can calculate such things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So for next for Mr. Motoyoshi from Michinori, I understand your horizontal function will help make more efficient operation of each bus operators. Is there any good example which you can show that you made a good efficiency improvement among your bus companies as an episode?
Thank you for your question. So it's difficult to answer at that point. So yeah, but for example, so like for example, for like a maintenance, it is the horizontal function. We see the all of maintenance costs like so. It's one of the parts like a screw or something like that. We see the every so stuff and how many uses, and also some stuff use a lot of screws. So this is so because of he don't have so enough capability to the so maintenance. So we get the knowledge from other company and other staff to him. So he cannot he reduce the screw to use maintenance. We can reduction about for so many percent, but so I cannot show how many percent. So in this case, but we can so also maintenance onto marketing or something like that. So yeah, so yeah, that's answer.
Yeah, thank you very much. I understand that you can do the benchmarking among the companies, and you can expand best practice, among your companies. I understand that. Okay, thank you very much. For Jacker, first of all, before going to the questions, I thank you for the improvement of the MRT3. As you may know that, MRT3 station is connected to ADB. If you haven't tried, MRT3, you can try even this, Friday evening, ride, because, the road is super crowded, but, MRT3 ride is actually Friday night, it's crowded, but, still good, condition. So actually, I'd like to ask, you mentioned that, the O&M toolkit is, I understand it's greenfield project, a new project, but you have experience in MRT3. So is there any, your observation, what part is most missing in an MRT3 operation,
Thank you, Kimura-san, for the question. So the most missing part of MRT3. It's really difficult question, but I think the maintenance quality is now really improved. This is one. This is quite important. But not only for MRT3 in this country, there are some lines. There are 4 lines: MRT3, LRT2, LRT1, and the PNR also. So I think the government sides, the regulation, all 4 lines are quite important. I think I don't have full understanding about the contract with the among the railways, but usually in Japan, I understand that Japanese ministry is regulating each operators for better safety and reliable railway operation. So for this part, it's really important for safe operation. So that I think in this country also need to emphasize enhance this kind of part. That's really important part, I think.
Thank you very much. Okay, so, sorry, actually, I missed one question. Oh, that's really, really sensitive questions coming. So I think, I leave it, online question to Toshiba-san, directly. Okay, so let's move to, the second half of the session. So the first, second half session is starting from, the data processing. The title is harnessing integrated data source for enhanced green transportation planning. So the presenter is Dr. Noriel Christopher Tigao. Okay, sorry for that. And professor of National College of the Public Administration and Governance, University of Philippines. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everyone for staying and sticking it out at this point. So I'm Noriel Tiglao. I'm with the University of the Philippines National College of Public Administration and Governance. And I'm happy to make this presentation in behalf of Professor Yusuke Shibasaki's team at Location Mind, which is a technology startup from the University of Tokyo, and which provides one-stop solution for people flow and movement analysis. And Location Mind is actually the awardee of the ADB's Innovation Hub's Urban Development Technology Innovation Challenge on designing exclusive cities with data-informed tools. So thank you very much. So I'll start with this picture. They say a picture paints 1,000 words, but as you can see here, in many DMCs, developing member countries, you see a lot of, street activity, people, on the streets, a mix of paratransit. So I think what we want to look at here is, we want data-informed systems for green mobility. And when we say green mobility, it's really about the movement of people and goods in any energy efficient transportation mode with low environmental effect. And of course, ultimately, that will have to lead to lessening of carbon emission. But I think central to green mobility is really the equity in accessibility, with particular attention to vulnerable groups of the population, as well as those at the risk of social exclusion. And so this is very important because
location mind and its development of the tool that I will introduce shortly is hinged on. Okay. Right. So this shows, of course, the use of mobile phone is very important. It's a ubiquitous tool. Anyone can use it. And so it's very important to see what mobile GPS data can actually provide. So the work started with the work of Professor Shibasaki on looking at cold detail record, looking at GPS data from the mobile phone during the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, right? So you can actually see this feed of big data that can show how people moved during, away actually from the earthquake impact area, and the transport systems grinding to a halt during the earthquake. So PIVE, which I will explain shortly, is built on this technology. So again, the objective of PIVE is a comprehensive integration of people data, mobility data that integrates as well household surveys, crowdsourced data from either online surveys, and the idea is to determine travel patterns and preferences with a focus on walking, cycling, which are really major modes in this part of the region, and this is where PIVE is all about. So it's really about integrating all this data from remote sensing down to close sensing on the ground with crowdsourced data, right? And you see there, the set of users that can possibly make use of PIVE. So just to run through some of the technologies here, you can see, for example, from the integration of different mobile GPS data sets, as well as ground surveys, community-based surveys, you can see, for example, in this particular case, origin destination data of people movement, right? So, and the PIVE tool in its current development was able to use data from data brokers over a period from mid-2019 to December 22, right? Making use of this. These are fully anonymized GPS data, and that can allow you actually not only the macro view, but also detailed view at the lower geographies. So in the particular case of Metro Manila, which is the pilot area, we'll zoom into several, several areas, including the pilot barangay. So Payatas is a barangay, the smallest unit up in the northeastern part of Metro Manila. You can see from the processing of this tool, you can see the origin destination trips going to and coming out of that barangay, that pilot site. Now, not only that, actually, the PIVE team actually developed as well, for different cities. You see there Iloilo, General Santos, which I think are the subject of ongoing projects as well. One feature of the PIVE is the transport mode estimation. So it's able to determine what type of mode that each type of trip under each particular purpose is using some algorithm, and there's validation of this. So this validation is done using community-based surveys, as well as the infusion of other data sets. Now, our group at Safe Travel PH at the university has partnered with the PIVE team to develop a fully engaged community-based survey, and we do that using the Safe Travel PH app. Right, so you can see here, it's able to generate both data from the user side, the commuter, as well as the operator side, meaning those that run the services. So there's actually validation on a more granular scale. Another feature is the determination of what we call informal settlers. So one way to get data is to understand which areas, what type of habitation or community settlements does these trip makers come from. And so this is done again using the pipe tool, which has very granular, pipeline for extracting informal settlements. So these are just a range of users. So the point here is that depending on the use, depending on the application, you can actually use Pive for your different use case across different application. So just to run down some of the data sets, and I may not have the time to go through it, but you can see really granular data. You can see, for example, data sets on origin destination plus their mode. So you can see there in this particular barangay in Payatas, you can see short trips, tricycle trips that otherwise can be made using walking or cycling. There's an information exchange platform that we're trying to tie up with the Pipe tool so that you're able to grasp public transport, because to some extent public transport operations is also run by communities, by drivers at the community level, including tricycles. So here's a QR code. Maybe if you can take a photo of this, maybe you can look at the dashboard. What can it do? So it's now available you can run it better in a laptop, but the smartphone edition will still be developed. So yeah, I hope you can get that photo there. So just to run down some of the dashboard screens, so you can see here density of people. You can see point of interest. But the point here is that these data sets extracted from mobile GPS is not only a one-time. So you can actually look at the temporal aspect of where these POIs are, point of interest, different OD patterns across different time and space. This I think is very important because this shows, for example, a snapshot of that area in the pilot. For example, you're able to get data on the commute trip length. Usually these are available in large-scale transport surveys, but with Pive, you can actually get that without, well, of course, there's a value for big, large-scale surveys, but you can actually do that as well with Pive. For example, here, showing that about 11% of the income of the household actually goes into commuting, right? So this is very granular information. So again, this talks about big data as well. So just a rundown on summaries. For example, you can relate purchasing power capacity, of families as they have access to public transport. The quality. So there's a feedback on the quality of infrastructure and the household capacity and the vulnerability. Ease of use, because sometimes transport is a very big cost item for low-income households, right? So you are able to do that as well. Data on travel experience is very important. Again, there's a talk about improving public transport. You can see here data about transfers, for example. So in Metro Manila, the latest survey says that it's about 4, more than 3 transfers. So as you can see, travel time increases with the number of transfers. Segmentation can be done across different, so it might be too small, but across different household types. And for example, you can do some analysis on, what would be the age structure, the income, the budget, and so forth. We did the Pive team actually did a workshop looking at and trying to map how the Pive can actually help the different agencies. So you can see here a list across different agencies linking up with their own initiatives for data innovation and data systems. Finally, there's a case for use of real-time data that the Pive team with us, you were exploring as well. But I think the contribution here, looks at the use of GPS data, looks at KPI, as well as improving public transport. So finally, this slide actually just encapsulates what we have here. So we have very strong data integration, data visualization. As you can see there, the other data sets could actually be linked via APIs like smart car data and operational data as they become available. And the most important thing is governance and decision making. So I think these are many use cases that could improve public transport and achievement of green mobility. So with this, I'd like to end, and thank you very much for your presentation, for your attention.
Thank you very much. So yeah, it's really a great presentation. Maybe all transport planners, really, wished, these kind of information. So next one is for the, again, data platform of decarbonization, that decarbonizing the transportation sector in city. So the presenter is Mr. Soma Suzuki, CEO of the Spatial Pleasure, the founder of the company. Okay.
So hello, everyone. This is Soma, CEO of a company called Spatial Pleasure. And so we got only 2 more companies left. So please don't leave. And so like we are creating a data platform for decarbonizing the transportation sectors. And especially we are supporting the carbon credit certification process for sustainable transportation company. And my background is in urban planning. So after graduating my master's course in the UK, I was talking to one bus company, and they were quite worried because like they emit some carbon emissions, right? Bus companies are, and they were worried that they have to maybe in the future purchase carbon credit to offset their emissions. But from an urban planning perspective, in the city macro view, like bus is actually contributing to reduce carbon emissions by replacing private vehicles. So I was like, maybe if we properly quantify how much emission reduction each bus vehicles are having, maybe we can support like some carbon financing, carbon credit. And other team members are like from a finance background and carbon backgrounds and trading sectors. So like we provide 2 services. One is a decarbonization data analysis, for example, for the transportation sectors, to optimize their route scheduling and etc. And second one is a carbon credit certification support. And for today's presentation, we're gonna focus on the latter second part of the business. So how many you are maybe experts in carbon credit in this room? Okay, good. And how many people don't know anything about carbon credit? Okay. So maybe like most of people have heard of carbon credit for a bit in the newspapers or TV, but don't know much in detail, right? So I'll explain. So lots of companies are obliged to decrease their carbon emissions or like carbon neutrality or like right bottom sectors, right? They do their best, but if they are like in energy sectors or iron sectors, it is impossible for them to, reduce the entire carbon emission. So what they have to do is like they have to invest or purchase some environmental values from the projects that is contribute to decarbonization. For example, like a solar panel project, a forestry projects, or like EV projects, right? And we are focusing on the left top carbon creation for the transportation sectors. So how to create carbon credit for transportation sectors? There are like several ways, but mainly these 2. First one is the energy shift. So for example, introducing EV cars or hydrogen vehicles to replace the diesel or gasoline cars. And the second one, which I think is very important for this Asian region, the modal shift, like introducing public transportation to replace private vehicles. The reason why the modal shift is important is, it is quite obvious. I hate this a lot. I experienced this in the morning too. And what is worse is like the number of cars are going to be doubled by 2040. So how right? Like how are we going to reduce carbon emission if the number of cars are going to be doubled? So the modal shift is extremely important. But the point is the modal shift project doesn't make money like a public transportation project or it is not, like a Bitcoin projects, right? So like we need some support from an environmental view or carbon finances. So that's what we are doing. And this idea itself is not a new, like a super new things. Like there are like several modal shift carbon credit projects being registered under CDM from early 2000, right? But in terms of the numbers of the project, the model shift projects are very, very limited. Only like 20 projects are being registered under CDM. And the reason is it is very difficult to, in a convincing manner, to quantify how much emission reduction these model shift projects are having. So like in the CDM era, like what they were doing is like to take lots of passenger surveys, asking people, so if there were no BLT or no buses, what kind of transportation model would you use? And that is very troublesome, right? And it is expensive and expensive, troublesome, and untransparent. But now it's 2024, like we got GPS data in the city, we can get the electric transaction data from the passengers. So by utilizing this data set, we can automate this calculation process of this carbon credit and provide carbon credit for the transportation sectors in a more easy and transparent manner. So this is our business model. So we collaborate with various transportation sectors like a bus company or shared mobility or like railway. And like we also support the carbon finance from the purchaser's side. So what is a problem for transportation sectors is like usually after analyzing the data and submitting to the third-party auditors, it usually takes like 1 year or like 1.5 years to get the carbon credit, which doesn't make sense, right? So like if we can find the carbon, like some carbon credit financiers at first to pre-finance this carbon credit, so this transportation company can focus on their operation and get their finance in a more easier way. And this is our some relevant achievements. So in Utsunomiya City in Japan, like we got a new LRT system, right? And Waseda University is like a prestigious university in Japan is responsible for calculating how much emission reduction this LRT project is having. And now we got the paid project from Waseda University for 5 years to, scientifically prove like how much emission reduction this LRT's project is having. And the second one is like we collaborating with one bus Japanese companies, and we created an algorithm to automatically estimate the modal shift effect. And this algorithm can be expanded into other bus companies. So yeah, if there are any transportation companies willing to collaborate, please let me know. And not only in Japan, like we collaborate with, we expand our business into Southeast Asia, especially in Indonesia. The left one, I trimmed my face to make it smaller because like I was like swollen with Indonesian people drink a lot. So like I kind of photoshopped my face, but so collaborating with the governmental sectors and also like, like a large conglomerate company called Snarmasland. So this Snarmasland has a city called BST City, which has 400,000 residents, and they have their own public transportation and their own traffic light system. So we are collaborating in these flows. Firstly, like we quantify how much emission reduction this public transportation is having and to issue carbon credits, right? And the second phase, like we support, so like we are supporting to quantify how much emission reduction this urban planning or compact city is having and support and collaborating for the carbon credit certification process. And we are thinking to, expand, do the similar things in other cities in Indonesia. This is what. So actually there are many, maybe like if they're like investors or VCs, you might be thinking like, okay, there's another carbon credit startups, right? But these carbon credit startups are mainly now concentrated in this nature sectors, like a forestry or blue carbons. And there not many or like virtually non-existent apart from us, but for this urban or transportation sector carbon credit. And what is interesting for this Japanese company is that there is an arbitrage for this Japanese company because, it's difficult to explain. So in Japan, right, like we have been doing lots of eco things or like decarbonization projects already, right? So it is very difficult for us to reduce carbon emissions from now. So what we have to do is invest in some decarbonization project or like exporting, for example, EV buses and reduce carbon emission there and bring the carbon credit back to Japan And that's what we need in Japan. And it benefits to both sides. For Japanese side, we can create like a large number of carbon credit, which cannot be done in Japan. And for the Southeast Asia region, the benefit is they can sell carbon credit at the higher price compared to in their regions. Yeah, so like we are talking with a joint crediting mechanism, like a Japanese carbon credit mechanism, like a bilateral carbon credit mechanism, and heavily, and we have already applied some projects. I'm waiting for the certification to be done. Yeah, so like this is the last slide actually. Like, so my interest is in a bigger voice, like creating a new form of civilization, because currently the city is formed in the way, how to say, oh, okay, I don't know how to say this in English, but in a capitalistic way, right? It's just based on money. But like if we can actually quantify this environmental benefit or sustainable benefit, the form of the morphology of the city is going to be changed, right? Which I want to see. And sorry, I'm not sure if the last sentence made sense, but yeah. And I'm gonna be staying this room until long time. So if anyone who want to hear more or like collaborate, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suzuki, about your presentation. Actually, this is almost the best presentation about carbon credit, in my life, honestly speaking. It's anyways, complicated. So actually, I understand the point, and it's really, a good presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, so the time is limited. So that actually the last presentation, but not the least, is the Zipper, the self-propelled ropeway system. The presenter is Mr. Ian Carlos Felido Libo-Queen. I'm sorry, pronunciation not good. So the director, head of business department of Jeep Infrastructure. The floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. Actually, my name is Mario Ian Carlos Felido Lebonkin. So it's very long, and I'm actually a Filipino. So if there's anyone want to listen my presentation in Tagalog, it's okay for me. Yeah, and thanks for everyone to staying until the last for the last in this speech. And one good news for everyone is that this is the last presentation for today. Okay, so let me introduce our system made in Japan. We are Zip Infrastructure. We are making a new type of transportation called self-driven ropeway Zipper. Last, please. Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, so as a venture company, as a startup company in Japan, we are tackling a problem for traffic and lack of transportation. I think everyone in this room have experienced the traffic in Manila, and everyone, I think, is exhausted for this traffic. For our estimation, this economic loss cost from the traffic in Japan and Asian top 5 countries reached to $550 billion per year. And it is estimated that these kinds of traffic cost twice emission of CO2 compared to the normal flow of the traffic. So these kinds of traffic, it causes a lot of problems, and there's a lot of factors on it. And one thing we think that these kinds of we need public transportations to be constructed enough, because there's too much cars in the urban cities today. So in the meanings of public transportation, the main thing is buses and railways, I think. And mainly the stakeholders would be the developers, the one who implement the system, and the users who use that public transportation. For the buses, I think everyone thinks that it's very cheap and it's easy to construct. Although for the users, it always be delayed, arrive very slowly, and it's stuck in the traffic, and it's low frequency. Compared to the railways, it's very good for the users. Although for the developers, it costs very high. It costs decades for construction, and it's a little difficult for land acquisition. But for the users, it's very inconvenient. It's low effect from the traffic. It's high frequency. So there's two aspects for the buses and the railways. It's good for the users, it's good for developers, but in the other way, it's not good for the users and not good for the railways too. So we Zip Infrastructure made a new type of transportation that is good for users and developers, win-win transportation. That is Zipper. So as a concept, we are making infrastructures much more cheaper and much more easy to implement. Our cable car is implemented over the road, like this video you see. We construct our pillars over the road, and the system runs these pillars over the road. The difference between the normal cable cars, other cable cars or ropeways, and our system is that normal cable cars, they have a rope and the gondola is sticking on it. So also when you pull up the rope, the people move on it. Although the biggest disadvantage of these cable cars is that they could only have straight lines. So cable cars is very cheap and it's good for environmental because the infrastructure is very small, although they could not have curves and branches, so that it is a little difficult for them to implement in the cities. But Zipper, it's a new type of cable car that could have branches and curves. So our system runs in the straight lines and runs rails in the curved sections. This gondola has its own battery and motor on it. So it's very flexible for us to have a rail in the urban cities. So this is an image for the infrastructures. The infrastructures is about 10 to 15 meters high, and the columns would be constructed between the island of the road or maybe in the walkable sections of the road. This is an image of our station. The riding system is much more like a cable car. So the gondola moves very slowly and the people ride on it continuously. So the advantage of Zipper has three mainly. First is it low cost. Using the cables leads to low cost and short constructions. Free design. The curves and branches are easy to implement and it's very compact. And for the last, auto driving, all gondolas is unmanned operated. So the whole system is central controlled. There are no need for drivers. Okay, to summarize it, for the developers, our system is very low cost and the land acquisition is minimized because our system is very compact. And for the users, it's just-in-time operation because it runs over the road. It won't affect the road. And the car comes every 12 seconds, so the people won't need to move, won't need to wait in the stations. So for our target area, we mainly don't think to compete with other transportations. There's route buses, there's trams, there are monorails, there's subways. I think subway is a mass transportation. It could move 20,000 people per hour, although it takes a lot of billions to construct. And monorails, it's much more easy to implement, but still it's a little big investment for the country or the government to do. So Zipper, it's a system, a feeder system for these kinds of mainstream mass transportation. It could move people about 3,600 people per hour, and it costs only about 1/10 or 1/5 compared to the existing railways. We mainly target for the areas which is those kinds of monorails or trams is a little bit unprofitable because the demand is not enough, but too much demand for the route buses and it costs about traffic. So these kinds of places we are now thinking to implement, like bay areas or large-scale factories or shopping malls like SM or something, because a lot of people have been stuck being for the traffic in the parking areas, and also residential areas in Philippines. So actually our system is still now developing. We started our company in 2018, started in a 120 scale model, a plastic model. And we started our POC in 2020. And last year, we made our full scale model in Japan. Now we are constructing a commercial type model in Fukushima, and we are trying to operate our system in 2026. So this is a video of our based POC in Japan. This is our full-scale model. This is the rope section it runs. And this would be the rail section moving. So we mainly done our basic POC in this test line. And we are trying to have our authentication from MLIT, the Ministry of Land Transportation in Japan, by using the next test line we are doing in Fukushima. We have several partnership with the LGUs in Japan, in the government of Japan, starting with cities and also prefectures, very interested in our system and trying to move to solve the transportation problems in their cities. We're also actually discussing with some LGUs in Philippines too, and trying to have a partnership in here too. So that's for our roadmap. First of all, our system is still in developing, so we are trying to first made our authentication until this year, and introduce our system in 2026. After our first project in Japan, we are trying to expand our system in Southeast Asia, which place is much more having a heavy traffic, and to solve the traffic in Philippines too. Okay, for the last, our goal is to have a revolution in transportation. Everyone thinks that infrastructures, transportation is very expensive and it's a little bit, difficult for them to implement. But by our system, it's much more easy and much more let the chances for the governments to have a main transportation in their own cities. And we also want to have a revolution in the living area. I think Manila is too crowded for today because there's a lot of cars and traffic in here. Let's go to a place that much more make our living much more sustainable for everyone too. Okay, thanks for everyone.
Thank you very much for the great presentation. Yeah, this kind of new model transport and quite, exciting. So before closing the session, I'd like to ask some comments, and if you have any comments, please put in your apps. The first, I'd like to ask Dr. Tigrao that I understand the data, big data is basically the participants agree to join your survey, or anonymously you can get the data from Google or anything like that. Which
Right. So the mobile GPS, the big data, is actually fully anonymized from the data broker.
Oh, so
yes.
Like Google already prepared without consent of people, you can get that.
Actually, it's not Google. So the data brokers, you have several there. So they actually aggregate data that actually have consent. For example, when you turn on,
so
there's actually
agreed.
a consent.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, so in the case, you can get kind of some information related to the user, like age, the sex, these kind of information is already attached or aggregated already.
No, yeah. In the mobile GPS, no, you don't have that information. It's just the locational data, fully anonymized. So what the system does is we work with the local community to get survey data and try to validate from the pipeline, getting data about what type of mode, what are the origin destination, what are the purposes, and then actually we work closely with the community.
Got it. Thank you so much. Yeah, that helps a lot. Okay, so next, I'd like to ask Mr. Suzuki that I understand that you did some work in the Utsunomiya. Then the volume is like the hundreds of tons of CO2. So basically, it's case by case basis, but how much is the corresponding amount to this reduction in CO2?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, it was a bit misleading in my slide because this 700 was different for different bus projects. And Utsunomiya LRT's projects, the numbers are still like we have to make it secrets, right? And the amount of the carbon credit being issued really depends on the project. For example, with a big railway projects, for example, that could get like 100,000 tons per year. which is a lot. And for like small like EV tricycle project, it's like 3 tons per year, which really defies for the project. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of, funding, is there any kind of, ballpark figure, this large size project you can get like 10 millions or 100 millions or, less than million?
Yeah, I'm sure like if this is a big metro project, like there is like 10 million credit, but like I don't want to make it like over hyped or like over expectation, but there's a potential for the big projects to get in a large number of the credit. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So the last, one is for deep infrastructure. So I understand you mentioned that Fukushima there's still pilot line, right? So when we can expect we can ride on the deep infrastructure when we go to Japan.
Next year.
Really?
Yes, our test line would be completed next year, partially in Fukushima. And actually, we were talking with one company in Philippines and trying to have in Philippines a test line too in 2028. So let me everyone invite you when we have it.
So test line is kind of open to usual public, or some volunteer. And if you ask you contact you, so you are inviting us to the pilot riding?
I think in the first place, we mainly have the priority for the sort of the governments, for the companies. Although we would like to make everyone to have a ride in our system, because the understanding to this system is the very crucial part for having to be a public transportation in Philippines, we think.
Wow, that's great news. Okay, even Philippines, we can expect several years later. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the kind of last session of the Transport Forum, and thank you very much for coming to Transport Forum. And this session actually, variety of ideas shown, like core, technology, pure technology, and system and governance and system to support the mobility, green mobilities. So there's actually variety in the field, where we can contribute, to achieve the green mobility. And in other words, many support are needed to achieve the green mobility. So taking this opportunity, you got some idea already. So, I appreciate your cooperation, to achieving the green mobility from, as like provider of the service system, whatever, and also the user of the green mobilities. And thank you very much, and big applause for everybody, participating in this session. Thank you very much.